All right, we are all set and good to go this morning. To everyone joining us, happy Monday. Welcome back to another Engineering the Markets. My name is Jared, and right now it's August 8th, 2022. We're kicking off a new week, so we've got new potential catalysts, new opportunity in the market. Last week overall was a bit of a balanced week. Didn't really have a ton of S&P volatility in terms of new price levels. Ultimately, a lot of our previous June balance ranges continue to be in focus, and the market is very likely to make a core decision around these levels at a later date. So for now, when we're looking at our first topic of discussion, the S&P index expected move for the week, you'll notice a couple of key nuances. First and foremost, last week we were expecting about an $80 expected move. So the market had priced fairly low its volatility, and as you can see, we actually stayed within that range completely. There was not even an upper or a lower expected move price test. And so far, that has been a very rare occurrence for the market. You'll notice just in previous weeks, most of the time we are getting some sort of test or breach. And usually these are facilitated by different types of trade dynamic and obviously different behavior as we move into those breaches. But if I zoom out slightly, what you'll notice is the last time we had this behavior was actually back in June. This is the last time the S&P did not test its expected move bounds. And this is why I've been bringing so much attention to it over the past week of trade. It's mostly because the market does have a little bit of price memory here, and we're seeing plenty of intraday opportunity around these types of price levels. So for now, as the S&P continues to trade here, we're looking at the following week and what the expected move looks like. We're seeing a little bit of a higher expected move reading, about an 87.5 point expected move. And that brings our top side level at about 42.33 and our downside level at about 40.58. Now, given what we just saw last week, should you be someone out there looking to sell the expected move, given that last week we didn't even have a test? Ideally, a premium seller was able to walk away last week fairly scotch-free, simply because there wasn't a ton of volatility in the S&P itself. And across different markets, you'll notice that as well. I would argue that this week is a little bit of a deceptive expected move kind of range, mostly because of what could happen. And we'll look at that more from an economic catalyst perspective, but it goes hand in hand with what we saw on Friday. Now, Friday, we got non-farm payroll, and those numbers came in a lot higher than the market expected. What we've been discussing in regards to Fed policy and the anticipation of what the rate hike cycle will look like has been driven by a couple of economic factors. For one, it's been core inflationary readings. Obviously, the Fed is interested in reducing inflation across the economy, and one of their main tools has been to raise their Fed fund futures rate. Secondly, they want to see unemployment and what sort of condition is the unemployment rate across specifically the US, but definitely more as an economic factor. And one thing that has been a bit of an ominous approach for the Fed is if the job growth or job recovery from pandemic levels remains high, then that is a factor that can allow them to continue being aggressive towards their rate hike cycle. And when it comes to the market or the S&P specifically, there's a little bit of speculation going on in regards to a more dovish or slightly backing away from hawkish Fed. The market sees the potential that inflation might have a short term or a relative peak. And this has sort of driven some of the trade recently. We've obviously had a strong reaction since our last Fed meeting. The S&P has risen somewhere of the tune of about 10% from that level. And especially from our swing lows, the S&P is up about 15%, at least from last week's high. So there certainly is this feeling of an aggressive recovery from lows, even with the economic conditions still sort of questionable. And it brings into focus the idea that is the market leading the Fed in regards to what it expects it to do, along with are we looking at a market that's trying to fight the upcoming Fed decision? And we'll kind of take a look at this more from a data approach. Definitely more interested in what the market is pricing and the probabilities around it. But I think this week especially is another driver towards catalysts that can move the market very quickly towards those expectations. So we'll take a look at that really quickly, and it'll be in focus this week as we had really nothing of significant note last week. A lot of continuation in our tech stocks. They're coming off of their relative earnings. There's been some interest back in what I'll call high short interest flow shares or companies, and a little bit of resurgence in the meme type stocks. We're seeing some leadership both in AMC, which did have its earnings on Friday, along with Bed Bath & Beyond, which is in play today and certainly a stock in focus. But even amidst those names, you saw names like Coin, which had a massive pre-market rally last week. And this was actually driven by some adoption and adaptation by BlackRock. Someone or a group that over the past couple of years has actually been what's it called? Someone who's been against crypto. You know, for a long time, BlackRock has actually had a bit of a negative lean towards most of the cryptocurrency space. That adoption is actually changing over time, and now we're actually seeing integration with the leader in as far as the US exchange, which is Coinbase. So very interesting market to analyze. A lot of it is actually driven by catalysts that you would expect to be bullish or bearish. But when it comes to the S&Ps, remember, what we saw on Friday was a strong jobs report. That is not necessarily the most bullish thing in the world, albeit it is a positive for the overall economy at this time, simply because it allows the Fed to participate and obviously to continue a more aggressive rate hike cycle, which tends to be a headwind for the market. So now that we've kind of looked at the S&Ps, let's take a look at some potential opportunity today. I'm not going to be going into too much high level for now, simply because we didn't have a lot of real shakeup last week. The one thing that is notable is some of the skew readings. I will bring this up as sort of the one main factor to kind of continue to pay attention to. And this is something we'll probably discuss in more detail as the week moves forward, because the reading right now is very preliminary. But I'm going to bring up a line chart here, and what you'll see is that we've been in a fairly low skew environment over the past couple of months, which indicates that not only has the market been sort of net short or bearish in the option market, they're actually using closer to at the money premium to facilitate this position. Usually when your skew reading is higher, the market's simply pricing tail risk. Any sort of out of the money put premium will be a bit elevated because markets like to hedge in case of a black swan event or some unforeseen uh, state of the market coming into play. Over the past couple months, it's been more of a bearish look in skew simply because we've seen readings very suppressed or just to the downside. And when you look at where these readings are, these are readings that are similar to what we saw back in late 2020, which was a period of sort of uncertainty as we were getting into our election cycle. So the reason I bring this up is we have another breach here, and this is more of a relative pricing level, but it's interesting because of the structure. I brought up a line chart just to show how amidst all of these 1 per day readings, there's essentially a trading range inside of the skew. You'll note that there's a relative low that was hit back in May 17th, I believe. That's our relative low. We maybe tested that low once or twice. We also have these sort of like automatic reactions or reactionary highs that have set up the top end of where skew has been priced. So anything between the 117 to 123 has been sort of business as usual. It's either a little bit lower than normal as it gets closer to this price. It's a little bit higher than normal if it gets at or above this price. And just like a trading range, you can see if this was a tradable product, you would have been buying support and selling resistance. Essentially the concept of supply and demand here being somewhat defined, albeit that's a little above the level of what skew is identifying. Now that we're seeing this mild breach here, I would say to pay attention to this. The reason being is if the market starts to price skew much higher, we could be seeing the beginning of a little bit of a trend change in skew reading. And what that can mean is that the market is starting to move away from its bearish overall sentiment, as those market participants are likely getting forced out of the market. You can kind of tell how bullish we've been across multiple areas so far. That's obviously putting pressure on just net short positions. And looking at potentially more of a speculative or more of an out of the money style approach to the market, where more of the volatility readings and the difference in volatility between out of the money and at the money premium on the put side specifically is coming back into this market. One thing I like to do here is, while this is not necessarily a 1-for-1, I do like to look at P-call or put to call ratio for all OCC options, so option clearing corp options. And similar to skew, you'll notice that there are levels here that are considered elevated and levels here that are considered suppressed. You know, obviously there's high end where the market gets so extreme on the put side that it actually can mark relative lows and highs in the S&P or across different indices. And similarly, when readings get this low, it often can mark relative tops. Even though they can be short-lived, it just showcases the type of extremity that we're currently trading in. And what you'll notice is last week we got to a bit of a swing low here. It's maybe not the absolute extreme lows, something where you could kind of jump in immediately and expect follow through, but there certainly is this back and forth trade going on from these readings, and certainly something to pay attention to in confluence with other signals. Maybe you're a technical trader, but this allows you to really get good pricing once you know that the market is conditioned in a certain way. One thing that was suggested by the chat here is, let me go ahead and take this off. I'll go ahead and throw up a comparison study, and all I'm doing here is comparing the SPX. So what you'll notice is there are moments of elevation in the S&P, especially back in June, where the P call has been towards the lower bounds. And then, of course, we got that extreme reading as the market sold off quite quickly, leading into a spike high in P call. And basically, that's marked our low so far this year. This is the lowest price the S&P has been. You'll notice, however, that it's not necessarily one for one. And that's why I want to caution taking this at immediate value. You certainly want to have risk parameters around this. But ideally, if the market gets this extreme, it means we're probably getting into an area of reaction or an area of decision for the market. So you certainly want to look at this maybe from the perspective of last June. And if we see a similar spike, either through price or through some of these readings, we can start to look at potentially setting up similar trade. It's almost as if we have a roadmap as to what the market can do, and what's going to drive that behavior is likely going to come from our economic calendar this week. So first and foremost, first 2 days, we'll be looking at just some core data coming out across things like consumer inflation expectations, a little bit of additional reading this morning. Let me see if there's anything of note today. I don't think there's anything critical today. Yeah, so this morning is pretty low in that that amount of data. But remember, Wednesday is going to be another CPI reading. We're looking at month over month for July. And that's going to be comparing last month to previous month. We're likely also going to be looking at the year over year, because we are at about a midpoint. So comparing 2021 readings to 2022, especially mid-year, after we've seen a little bit of recovery from the pandemic readings that have maybe taken place a year prior, these are obviously going to be important for the market to assess. And as we've discussed, if these readings start to move back to the upside, along with what we've gotten with our jobs report last week, it gives the Fed a lot of intention and fuel to continue being aggressive, of which the market may react quite bearishly to this. And we'll obviously be looking for the price signal to indicate that sort of move. Last but not least, just kind of showing that through our Fed tool. I like to bring this up whenever there are some catalysts that could drive these probabilities to move. And what you'll notice is last week, I'll bring up the comparison tool here. Last week, if you're looking at, unfortunately, it's not going to show the difference between Friday and today. It's right on that border. But 1 week ago, you'll notice that the probability of a 50-point hike was much higher. It's about 71% at the start of last week, compared to 29% for a 75-point rate hike. That has shifted, most of which has occurred during that jobs report. If you were monitoring this last week, you'll notice that it was a bigger shift during that time. And the probability currently has shifted completely, so it's swapped. We're now looking at about 70% on the 75-point rate hike versus 30% of a 50-point rate hike. Now, this is based on current data. This is what the market is pricing as of now. And what you'll notice is, as I go to the futures contract, remember, this is all coming from market future pricing. This is not survey or biased in any, well, it's biased by the market, but it's not a subjective reading. This is more objective. Our futures contract is /ZQ. And I just wanted to show that volatility from last week. Let me get this back into more of a, you can do a candle approach here. And just show the past couple of sessions, maybe a 5-day. So Don't worry so much about the prices here. That's what that tool sort of smooths out for us. It allows us to read it in a human readable format. What you'll notice here is that the overall probability skew was flat for most of the week. There was no movement in this reading until Friday. And that's when the market really reacted, both as we saw in the morning on the S&Ps actually selling off and then recovering back to previous day close, along with this particular Fed fund futures pricing actually seeing volatility. And this might not look like much from a price perspective, but what it did was shift those probabilities. So this is actually quite a bit of movement. So you can also look at the active contract right now. Looks like it's U, and should be this one. Yeah, and you can see that volatility as well. You know, what I like to do here is just kind of look at whether or not we're getting big shifts across multiple contracts. And usually I like to do this in the Analyze tab of this platform. Right. No, sorry. The Trade tab. I was looking at the wrong one. Bring it back to just your active contract, which will show as the same August contract. It's actually different than the September. And then you'll notice different pricings here. These pricings are what drive the probabilities in the tool that we use. This is really just the market product that allows that probability to change and to shift over time. So probably a little in the weeds for most people. This is really just showing under the hood where this data comes from. And ultimately, when you see those big shifts, you can actually expect the market to move. Market really didn't have a ton of movement last week until that Friday, even though it did recover. And that's what's so interesting is the market's currently shaking this off from a price perspective. But the question is, are we about to see something a little bit more impactful? Are we about to potentially change trend? Are we looking at another breakdown like we saw back in June? And what's going to drive it? Is it going to be CPI? Is CPI going to be in line? And can the market continue its rise here? Kind of in a wall of worry or just an overall kind of drift. If we look at expected moves, I would say that that's potentially likely this week. We do have our top side levels, both in the balance range and of course in the SPX expected move, 42.33. But overall, there's not a ton of bias here until we get a little bit of a signal. And it's really hard to be a bull at these levels because we know what the risk looks like. We know how fast the market can move lower. So be aware of that potential and strategize around that potentially happening. One thing that I've been looking at a lot this past couple of weeks is when a market is in a balance range, what you want to have on in your portfolio potentially is very defined risk trades. Not necessarily with a stop loss, but as an option trader, you want to have things that are shorter term, vertical style, or just define risk on both sides, which means that the market can move very little and you're able to exit those trades profitably. You don't have to shoot for big moves where ultimately you pay up a lot of debit. And if the market doesn't move, then obviously that can lead to a bit of a lower impact. So let's see what kind of questions y'all are asking. Does RSI tell us something too? Let's take a look. I'm assuming you're looking at daily RSI. So we're looking at full MACD and RSI cycles going on currently. And that's fairly typical of such a strong recovery move like this. You often go from extremes to extremes. Does that necessarily mean we go short? I would argue that just because the market's in this condition, we haven't really seen the momentum change back to the bears. And that's something that maybe a MACD can kind of assist with. Usually what you want to have is at least a cross. If you're using just your default 12, 26, 9 MACD settings, most platforms will kind of keep you on these defaults. Usually when you get into an overbought or oversold condition, what you want to have happen is the momentum go into the favor of the opposite trade, basically shorting into weakness as opposed to trying to top tick a move in progress. So be very aware that yes, these are full cycles. Doesn't necessarily mean that the market's going to roll back over. We could actually pull in on our bullish momentum, stall a bit longer, maybe even pull in price, and then continue higher. And that's another case where we'll be looking for potentially some pullback buys. Anything within the range of 395 to 400, the S&P is set up quite well for continuation just based on the structure. So be aware of that. Ultimately, you don't want to be too early to a play, but you also want to prepare for how you're going to trade it. And right now, we don't have a clear resistance in this market except for the balance range highs, and we haven't even tested it yet. Technically, we haven't hit that top end quite yet. If we breeze through it, then technically the market may be seeing this as another breakaway style move just to get a better upside price for a potential short later on. I'm also kind of higher time frame analysis here. We're looking at some levels that were obviously of impact last couple months ago. 42.10, 42.11-ish in the ES futures, and in the S&P overall. This zone is certainly one that the market seems keen to test. So I definitely would want to assess risk as we climb to these higher shelves of value. Ultimately, this could be our final target for this move before we see any type of pullback. Last week really didn't pull back at all, and ultimately we're still in an uptrend. There hasn't been any clear trend change or anything of significance. The only thing that's a risk right now is the potential for one data release to kind of drop the market, and that's what you want to prepare for, just in case we see it this Wednesday. So, all right. I'm gonna go ahead and call it here. I think we're kind of in a good spot for today. Remember, we have a pretty good watch list this morning. Do not let these moves pre-market kind of fool you into your bias. Remember, some level analysis on these will kind of help you out midday, especially if we're seeing stronger rejection. BBBY is coming into a clear resistance level. Watch and see what happens here. Be very careful trading too aggressively into this level. Anything as simple as a 5-minute trend change can occur into a weekly resistance. So, you want to assess your downside risk, especially if it becomes a top today. And I would agree similarly with AMC, somewhere around 25 is of interest. Unfortunately, they've moved these prices pretty quickly to these levels. So unless you're in some sort of swing position, it might be a little bit overcooked without some clear volume getting us over these levels. But we'll kind of keep it in watch and see how aggressive they are today. So with all that said, stay tuned for pre-market prep. We'll talk more tomorrow. And as always, trade safe.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to PreMarket Prep. I hope everyone's having an amazing morning. Hopefully, you guys had an incredible weekend. Good morning, Norm. How you doing today?
Hey, good morning, brother. I'm doing well. How are you?
Love the hat, my friend. Love it. Is this a celebration for the amazing weekend you probably had sailing?
Well, I was just happy to be over COVID, dude.
Yes. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I that was not fun to do again, but it's all as well. Just a couple of days of feeling like garbage and back to normal. No, my this was a gift and a little bit of a joke, and I'm not sure if it goes better with the sailing or it's more of like I look like the village people. But our good friend Hamish, I was DMing him earlier, and he said something about good morning, Captain, or whatever. So I thought I'd wear this for him.
There you go. There you go. Ham is a great member of our community. Does a lot of great stuff for us there. All right, guys, let's get to it. Let's head over to our gappers list this morning. We have quite a bit in the green today. So again, a lot going on there. Some stuff with some news catalysts, a couple of low floats, but just a very large list this morning towards the upside. Not so much towards the downside. PLTR so is the one I recognize immediately. Bntx not a great one, but we'll look at these and what's dropping these down, especially PLTR guys down 14.5. So that's not fun for them. For the most part, everything looking rather green this morning with the SPY. As we get to this, looking rather strong to start this week.
Yeah, man. Somewhat strong this morning. We had the so-called Inflation Reduction Act passed in the Senate over the weekend. Guessing that will go to the House. I believe they'll take that up on Friday, is what I heard. So we'll see how that goes. The big data, nothing really too crazy today. The big data today or this week is CPI coming out Wednesday. We got to see what the inflation's doing. That's been driving a lot of the market moves one direction or the other. So we'll see what happens there.
Yeah, absolutely. That definitely has been exciting. That's for sure. All right, guys, let's take a look at what we have here. I'm gonna go ahead and remove the stuff we have from Friday. So Control A, Control X gets rid of that. Finish out a couple of more rows down here. We'll be good to go. And yeah, let's start here with what's capping up today. We have BNSO, which is a low flow up 154% this morning. 1.1 million shares flow. So this flow, guys, very active right now. Pre-market, not bad, not bad. It could get better, but not bad so far. We might need to wait a little bit, but just keep in mind, guys, this thing it's very aggressive. You need to be very careful. The pictures over on our chat room. For those that are not in our community over on YouTube, let me show you what's going on here. It's hard to do a show as you're trying to keep serious. Let me stop this video there so it doesn't do that. When you're seeing this pop into your message here. So our chat having a good time
Oh,
this morning there.
it's usually Friday, but I figured we'd have some. We figured we'd have some fun this morning.
This is definitely the right way to start the week. No question. All right, guys, let's get to it. So we have on the BNSO low flow. I'm going to put that one on here. It looks okay pre-market. I'm just concerned with how low this flow is, guys. You got to be extra careful on this one.
Yeah,
KRTX.
the
Yeah,
low float, and considering that ticker was whopping $3 on Thursday,
I know.
I don't
I
know if
know.
you. I don't know if this was something that popped up in the pre-market show then, or
No, I don't recall it. Yeah.
I don't remember talking about it on Friday, but I felt like garbage and had a fever, so I don't remember much of anything. I was
Yeah.
a bit
Yeah.
delirious, so
Yeah.
hey,
Yeah.
see, just watch out. Million share float, very small.
Yeah, very small, guys. This morning, the low of 610, already at 1340 is the high. So it just tells you how much this is moving. And even though it has 3.1 million shares, the spread right now at times gets pretty nasty. So be on the lookout for that if you're going to be trying to trade this pre-market, which again, just be very careful. KRTX not looking so hot. Now this different here, up 56%, but you have no volume on this. So this one not great for us at the moment. We'll skip on it for now. BBBY, short interest of 101 right now. And it looks like we're getting into a squeeze situation here, up 38%. Norm, any news? 9 million shares traded so far. This looks
Yeah,
very active
we
today.
got we got meme stocks back in play. This being the main one, the number one. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely active, guys. Again, 9.2 million shares traded, up 38%. So definitely on our list this morning. Started going on Friday, as you can see here, and continuing today. KOD, I was looking at earlier, doesn't look good, guys. Again, not a low flow, but you got this initial pop here from $10 to 17, back to 12 something. Again, this is just not great pre-market activity. So I don't have, and yeah, I don't have any hopes for that. SGFY also not looking great, up 15%. But look at the pre-market action. Nothing going on. Barely any volume, only 200,000 shares. We need more than that. Skipping on down to GNRX. This is a 439,000 shares float. So I don't expect a whole lot out of this one. Pre-market action right now. Again, you got some volume here. You're up 12%. Did some stuff last week. This would have been, was this Wednesday? Yeah. I was just gonna skip on this, guys. Be very
and then
careful.
They announced the secondary on Friday. So they were up, then down. Now they're popping back up. Another biotech.
Yeah.
Finviz has it at 5 million. So whatever your poison for data feed is, it's still low flow.
Yeah, still very, very low. All right, guys, I'm gonna stop here. There's a lot on our. I'm actually gonna look at some names that we kind of watched a little bit. AMC this morning's on this list. They're up 6.4 after a big day on Friday. This could be decent today. We could definitely put AMC. We got two meme stocks that running the show this morning on the top list. We have also Plug and Piton on here. So Plug continues to go up here 5%. I know this is doing pretty well, so we'll add this to the list also. We can fine tune this later. And let's take a look at Piton. They're moving up 5% this morning, 286. More of a possible for now. Let's put possibility on Piton there. And just trying to see some good names in the meantime down here. And we'll stop here for now. I think that's good. Gapping down. Curious to see what's going on with PLTR here. We're down 15% on this thing, Norm. Is this earning or something else?
Yep.
Yep. So that they're getting a crush here this morning with some good volume. 10 million shares traded. Definitely in play for today. So PLTR. We'll add that to the list. Our first red ticker there.
Unexpected loss, and they're getting hammered.
Yeah, so we're seeing that play out right now. Next one, Bntx. We've seen this before. It doesn't trade very well. This morning, they're down 6.2. Very light volume, guys. Again, spread can be nasty at times as well, so I'm not a fan of having this one on deck. Let's go down to APDN. Low flow at 8 million, and man, this is pure garbage here, guys. Just look how this is trading. Look at the daily. Looks like it might have been a SPAC maybe or something happened here, but yeah, just I don't know, not good. AVLR. Oh, this is just no. This is man, talk about a nasty candle here, and just overall pre-market action. So yeah, don't want no part of that. All right, Norm, we don't have a whole lot that looks great this morning. Anything you like on your end?
I don't know if we had a whole lot on the gap up list, so I don't know if you looked at a couple of these. Yeah, I would take a look at pick your poison on a crypto play. Coin would probably be Coin or Mara. GME if you haven't looked at that, since meme is in play. I can't. And just Tesla.
Yeah, actually, Coin is looking pretty decent this morning compared to what it's done in the past. Mara's okay. Actually, both of them are pretty decent. So I'm gonna pick Coin as my main one.
I like Coin because it's higher priced.
Yep, Mara as possible. Either one of those could do very good. And then the next one you mentioned was GME as well. In play today at 2.6. I do have AMC. I do have BBBY up here, which are looking pretty good pre-market with some good volume. But you cannot forget about our buddy GME for sure. Falls right into that category. Yeah, I skipped over a few on here, guys. So if you guys see anything that looks great, you could definitely throw it back out to us. That was on our gappers list. Heading over to our chat here. Let's start here with what do we have going on? Coin. All right, so Jazz looking at Coin there as well. Let's see our friends. What are our friends looking at this morning? Good morning. TBOT has good news. Squeeze might be coming. TBO tablespoon. What is the news? I don't know, man. I don't trust this stock, even with good news. I mean, yes, they have good news, and this is why we've been seeing this, right? So maybe more good news for them. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of this one at all. So just be careful. You're going to be watching that one. Twitter TWTR this morning. What
I'm
happened?
gonna hold back
Yeah.
my opinions on that ticker
On
permanently, as I'm afraid it'll get
Tablespoon.
our YouTube channel. Yeah, I'm afraid it'll get our YouTube channel pulled off.
It is it is very tough ticker, man. Twitter guys this morning. I don't see a whole lot of volume on it. Jose, I mean, you like the possible breakout? Looks like on Friday there's something positive here, but for the most part, they're very light on volume today. It needs more time for it to pick up. I'm not saying it sucks at the moment, but it does need more volume right now. Up 2% almost. Just need a little bit more to get going. Um, Look at the bounce on these guys, man. They were down at what 33, now at 43. So not a bad move the last couple of days.
Watch it keep running, go above Elon's price target. He's like, I'll buy it now.
Yeah. Oh man, this is crazy. But yeah, you're right, Tablespoon. You know, it was entertainment. We've been looking at it almost every day. It was entertainment. Dylan, you're giving us a Meg L here. What is Meg L? What is this situation happening on Meg L? There we go. Oh no. Let me see here. Let me go back. No, there's no IPO just. Well, IPO just Friday. So you don't have a whole lot to go by, but this is a brutal IPO if this is what just happened, right? You just have, look how this thing, it just have nothing to go on. Horrible stuff here. Up 101%. Is this right?
Yeah, it just IPO'd. I think it's got a very, very small float, like
Yeah.
something like 5 million shares. And you remember the crazy behemoths last week that popped with the, what was it, Beavers. Once again, AMTD, and what was the other one?
The HKD.
HKD. There you go. Thank you.
Yeah.
The fever is real, and it destroyed more brain cells, I think, than any of the other things I've ever done to do that. Yeah. So it's on a little bit of that frenzy and a very low flow. So I'd be
so scary.
very careful with that.
So not a fan of that one, guys. Be very careful on that one. Tesla, we did mention Tesla earlier today. Let's take a look on Tesla today. At the moment, they are down up 2.3, 700,000 shares traded. And let me see here. For the most part, let's zoom in a little quicker. There we go. Yeah, they're okay. I think, you know, they can be very active. We've seen a lot of movement from them last week, right? So, yeah, they could be reactive. More of a possible right now. They seem a little quiet, this pre-market. Let's see. A-Firm had earnings last week, right? I believe, or they had some news last week where they were moving. Today, they're not doing a whole lot, guys. Volume is very light. They're up 2%. Possible breakout on this daily, but for the most part, pretty quiet as far as the pre-market at the moment. So I think we can find better stuff to put on our list. Also, A-Firm, it trades a little funky. Also, you got to be careful in that one. SOX L, this is an ETF, right? I believe. Yeah. ETF here, semiconductor, I believe what it is. I prefer to trade like a straight AMD or Nvidia, guys. I mean, those, you know, when it comes to this semiconductor sector, these two stocks trade so well. I don't think you need to go to the ETF. Not saying that you cannot. You could do whatever you want, right? But AMD and Nvidia trade so well that you could just trade these two directly. They got amazing price action. And AMD this morning, a little light on the volume, probably the lightest volume we've seen on AMD in a very long time, only 337,000. Still great to put on our secondary list. Let's take a look at Nvidia. Probably same thing, a little quiet today. Yeah, 238. How about our buddy Apple? Makes me think about them after we're looking at all these tech companies. Apple this morning, we are looking at 800,000. I love the daily on Apple. I really like the daily on Apple this morning, and not a bad pre-market activity compared to AMD and Nvidia. They have a nice pre-market activity. 800,000 up almost 1% there. Yeah, love that daily on it as well. Mega looks like a bag holder generator.
I like that.
I like that, Ron. It's very good. A bag holder generator. We're gonna add that to the rotation. All right, let's see here. Baba this morning. Baba light on volume. It is gapping down, trying to recover here. It could be a good possible, but I think I have some better ones on my secondary list this morning. Coin is hot. Yeah, I agree. Coin is on deck, looking very good this morning. They were quiet for a while, but today they're looking pretty good. Ford, no. Minor news. Yeah, Mat 4 is just it barely moves even with big news. So that's the issue with this one. It's been a great swing trade if you're able to catch this one, right? From 11 to 15. It's done very well there, but intraday trading is just brutal on this thing. AMC is on deck, so that's good. Over 25 bucks. Yep, over 25 or at 25, coming back down now. Amazon, let's take a look at our buddy Amazon. Daily looks good on Amazon, very similar to Apple. Nothing explosive though. I think Apple looks out of all our usual suspects, Apple looks the best one so far. So I'm gonna keep that one on my list this morning. Guys, I think I'm set. I think I have enough here. I have BBBY, AMC, both memeing this morning. We have Plug, which again up 5.6. They received more good news last week, knowing when you were here, if you guys remember that. POTR, let's see how this is going to trace down quite a bit already. Coin looks very good this morning. Probably one of my favorite ones this morning is Coin. The way this setup is happening here, pre-market looks very good. And then Apple, I love the daily on Apple. And then we got some really good secondary type plays. Piton, Mara, GameStop, Twitter, not so much. We need more on that, and Tesla. So yeah, not bad to start a Monday. So let's go ahead and go over to our community events and announcements. We can always come back and look at more stuff if they pop up. But yeah, let's do that, and then we'll come back and fine tune this list, guys.
All right. Every Monday, which it is Monday, you've got onboarding and technology at 8 p.m. Eastern with Carlos. That is the perfect webinar to start BBT with. So we'll talk about the trial in a minute, but this is available to all members, including trial members. So if you're watching on YouTube and you haven't yet, you can try out the room and go to this tonight, get a feel for everything, and hang out for the rest of the week. See what you think. Tomorrow night, strategy, Thor, 8 p.m. Eastern, talking about understanding the components of a trading system. And then next week, Peter talking about trading the lightning bolt pattern. Psychology on Wednesday, we've got Kreda. Note the special time, 5 p.m. Eastern, since she's in Europe. Don't want it to be too terribly late for her. That's putting the mental edge pieces together. And then the next week, Randy Howell, back at the normal time, 8 p.m. Eastern, unlocking the hidden potential of your trading mind. Thursdays, we've got mentorship, 11 a.m. with John, 4 p.m. with Ed, and 8 p.m. with Thor. StockTradingSimulator.com, where you can go use our free web-based replay simulator 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. StockTradingSimulator.com. And as I mentioned, the intro membership, if you sign up for that, just go to BearableTraders.com. On the homepage, you can scroll down about halfway down. You'll see that intro. Click the join now. Type in PreMarket 24 when it asks for the code, and it'll give you a week in the room. 7 calendar days, 5 trading days, after which it cancels. It's not a recurring payment. It's one time, and then if you want to continue on, you can choose to become a different type of different membership category. And we still have Read 50, half off the Elite Annual Membership, and free one-on-one coaching session with Dr. Kenneth Reed. That gives you that coaching session over Zoom or whatever video conferencing he has. Also, all the webinars we do, all of the webinars.
Yep. All right. Thank you, Norm, for that. All right, guys, let's get to it. We got a pretty good list this morning, I think, to start this week. We have the BBBY, we have AMC, Plug, we have PLTR, we have Coin, and Apple. So not a bad list to get going here this morning. Let's go ahead and start doing some levels for this, and then we should be done with enough time to even look at more tickers if they do come up on our gappers list, or if they get going. There were a few that we just bypassed really quickly. Because they just didn't look great as far as volume, but they can become good stocks and play in a bit later. Will be great to see a pullback on AMC on the open to support. Yeah, it's ran up pretty good here. It's up 6.7. Let's see what it does. Got a lot of time here to get some kind of pullback on some of these early runners, especially BBY pulling back a little bit here. Plug as well. So again, a little bit of a pullback on some of these high flyers this morning. We'll see. We'll see how it does. Hopefully, I agree with you, Jay. Hopefully, they did not get too extended to the point that we cannot get a good entry and join the party there. Let me move this over, guys. Sorry, running out of space here on this desk to keep adding things. And all right, there we go. Okay, cool. Let's look at some levels here, guys. Start with BBBY this morning. High of the pre-market right now, 1206. We'll slam a level there, 1209 to be exact. And then heading to the left, let's see what we've done here in the past in around this area where the price is. If we zoom in here, we have a nice area of support right here around 9. Might actually be $9, but 909 is what I have on my end. So you got a little bit of support, not a little bit, a lot of support happening there. A little bit of resistance on these 3 days. Did a great job of pushing this thing right back down off that same level there. So that's good. Then towards the top here, we do have another level. There we go. Okay. Another level up here with 1017. So 1017, another great area of resistance there. So you got kind of like the ping pong action here going back and forth, a little bit of support there. So a whole lot going on as far as these two levels, 909, 1012. And then right where the price action is now, there's a level right on here. And I think that's why we might be flirting with this thing. And what is this, 1095? And yeah, pre-market, you definitely want to have this level down, 1095. You can see here how much we have played around with this area. So that's looking pretty good there. Towards the bottom below, we have the previous day close. I think you're pretty set on this thing. Above 1206, because that is your high of your pre-market. And if we get back up there and test that, if it does decide to run, you got a couple of areas here. I do like this 1381. Reason for that is you can see the support happening here, a little bit of resistance. That is looking very well there. So that is a BBBY looking very nice this morning. Great volume, guys. 10 million shares traded, up 34%. I think this thing has a lot of play in it today. Here's AMC also memeing nicely this morning. We had a good day on Friday though. I don't recall this one Friday. Yeah, because I don't remember it trading so well. It looks like it happened after my trading time here. It looks like after 10:45. You got a real nice breakout on AMC on Friday. So yeah, that turned out pretty good. Look at the opportunity here. High of the day at 1774, the level we had here. Does test that a couple of times. The fourth time you get the actual breakout, the retest in case you missed it, and then look at that run. Man, nice. Hopefully some of you guys took advantage of that. This morning we are having high of our pre-market 2482, high of the pre-market there. We're going to go over here to the left, and we have a couple of levels here on this last run that we had, going from, what is this, 2074 up to about $30, and then the following day 34. So this thing is getting into that territory again. Above this 2484, which is our high of our pre-market, we do have a 2598, might actually be 26. And then we have, I like this area here, 2925. You got a couple of days opening, closing, slamming against that. So I think that's a good price target to have as well, 2925. Within here, you can actually go into this intraday and find some levels, but I'm not going to do that. I think this will be good enough in case we get going. Look out for the whole dollars, 2750, 27. These all could become important when there's not a significant level that sticks out on the daily. Towards the bottom, in case we do drop here, we do have low of the pre-market over at a 2147. We are in short selling restriction. Why is that? 2147. Let me see. We had this is probably because of Thursday. Probably Thursday. I'm not sure what we have. Now, why does this make sense? Short selling restriction. We ran up. Oh, okay. No, Friday. Okay, there it is. So we gapped down big on Friday. That is where the SSR was activated right here. We gapped down more than 10%. Although we were, again, long the entire day, nothing too short there. Even today is going to be on SSR because I think SSR takes about 2 days before it clears. So that makes sense now. All right, so that's AMC, guys, looking very good this morning. Let's head on over to plug. I'm going to remove some of these levels because now we have our highs and lows kind of overlapping some of those levels we have here. Towards the bottom, low of the pre-market is pretty much where the high of the day was for Friday, right around here. So I'll keep that. You can mark down this area here, but for me, this is going to be a lot more important than this single candle hanging out over here. So I'll keep this level for now. Towards the top, high of the pre-market, I am going to mark down 2672. We'll slam a level there. Let's go to the left. When's the last time we've been up here? That is going to be April time frame right over here. So in April, we did have a nice area of resistance right over here, 2824. And what's a great area of support more than anything right over here? You can see the buyer stepping in there every time, a little bit of resistance that then became support, resistance, and then now resistance again as we're trying to push above that. If we are able to get above 2672 and 2824, just in case we're really going to run here. I mean, this will be a stretch. 29.76, another great level on the daily. If you look towards the bottom of the price action right now, you're all set. Highs and lows of the last 2 trading days, previous day close. I mean, there's nothing more you want to add down here. Keep it simple. Great volume right now, guys, at 914,000 shares traded, as the pivot alert bot is calling out coin on it near R4. Let's go take a look at coin. Coin's trying to get back up here this morning. So our pit alert bot. I always say bot first, but it's pivot alerts bot, right? Is calling that out there. So let's see. It's going to be very active this morning, in play so far. Here's plug. Plug is looking very good. We're set there. PLTR, the only one that's red on my list this morning, down 13.5. I got some crazy levels here. Let's remove this stuff, clean this baby up. There we go. Low of the pre-market, we're going to mark down 957, which you can see here on the daily as corresponding with a couple of areas as well. So that is good there. And then the big area support that we're seeing here is going to be this 898. Clearly, you can see the support there. The bigger range obviously starts here. You can see there's an area there, come back down all the way to 898 again. Back up to this 10, let's mark this 1032. 1032, great area of resistance. We continue to come right back down again to that 898. This 898, very important there. Then right back up to this 1032 again. And then finally, within that, we're making a pit stop here at 956 a couple of times, right? Within this bigger range. So right now, price action is slightly getting back into this range after breaking out nicely. We're kind of sliding back into this, gapping down 13.7. So let's see how that's going to play out. Towards the top, guys, you got plenty of stuff there. Highs and lows for the last 2 trading days. And then 1032, which is, again, was a big area of resistance for this stock until it finally broke out of it probably about a week ago. So we're kind of getting back into the range. 956, obviously, a good level as well. Let's see how this thing is going to play out today. Again, big drop for them. They're kind of going sideways. Are we finding support here, or are we going to continue down when the market opens? Coin, again, looking very, very good today. It was a little stale here the last couple of months, right? Didn't do much. And then Mara was kind of moving very well, if you guys remember that. But today they're both looking good. I do like Coin a little bit better. 102.31 is Coin. Coin had to split, right? Did they do a split, I believe? Or am I mistaken here? Did they have the split? I can't recall. No split. Man, so they rallied this much. I thought we were lower. I thought we were down to $20, but maybe not. They did hit 41. Okay, so maybe not. All right, so 102.31. It's a nice run here, guys. 102.31, high of the pre-market. Towards the bottom, 94.94. Low of the pre-market there is actually 95 to be exact. You're surrounded by the highs and lows of the last 2 trading days. Previous day close, I think you're pretty much set here on Coin this morning. So be on the lookout for this one, guys. This one can obviously get going pretty quickly. Let's see if we find something between 115 and 102.31. I'm going to go to the left here and see if we find something that sticks out as a good level. The only one I see is going to be this 112. So that's the only thing I see that looks significant as far as a good area of support and resistance on this stock. So that's what we'll do. You can also, so you don't have anything else that's sticking out that's very significant as support. You can mark down the opening of this day over at 106.23. You can mark that down as well, since you don't have anything else that's sticking out. Just don't put a lot of weight onto that. All right. To attend the onboarding class in technology with Carlos, you just go to YouTube channel. Is that it? No, you have to sign up. You have to sign up for an intro membership, and we're going to be hanging out tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern time. So there's a link here. There should be a link in the chat over on YouTube. Let me see if it's not there. There should be a link there. We'll get you a link, but you can go to our website, bearwoodtraders.com. Scroll to the bottom. You're going to see an intro membership. It's I think it's like $30 something, but if you do pre-market 24, it'll bring it down to $24. You're going to get access to the onboarding class tonight that we're doing live. In the class, the way we're setting it up, the first half, we kind of go over the community, kind of the environment. And then the second half, we're just kind of talking about things that are happening throughout the markets. We'll get into, risk management. We'll do some life stories that I have experienced, that I have had with trading. And it's a whole lot of fun. We have some members that join on a regular basis. Robbie's there most of the time. Actually, every time Robbie's there. So it's a lot of fun. So definitely join us for that second half. If you're a member, you're more than welcome. Come around like at 8:30 or so, and we'll definitely get going. All right, what's going on here? AMD, wow, AMD, 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 AMD. Let's go look at AMD. The chat room is acting like a scanner here for AMD, and it is very active. What's going on? All right, what's the news? Who is flushing AMD here? Is that Peter? Did Peter sell all his holdings on AMD? What's the news? Try to see if I find any news on AMD here. Nothing yet. Nada on an AMD, Nvidia and AMD. Yeah, so something with the semiconductors, obviously, right? Oh, look at that. Man, oh man, swing trading is so difficult. Can you imagine? This is why swing trading, how do you swing trade? I mean, it is tough. So look at this. Both of these right now taking a beating. AMD and Nvidia. What's the news, guys? Have we seen the news? Fat fingers. All right, so AMD here getting crushed. I have AMD here down. Well, not getting crushed, but that is a very aggressive drop, right? Only down 1%, but they were up about 1% or so. So let's see how that's going. How about TSM? Is TSM getting a little bit of a drop here? Not a whole lot. But yeah, that's interesting. We'll see what happens. All right, so where we left off with coin. That is set. Apple, let's do levels for Apple. Apple is dropping here a little bit. Huh? So we got the Qs. Nothing like the semiconductors, but the Qs are dropping. All right, so we got something going on with the Qs too. All right, so we got something breaking out there. All right, let's take a look at our levels for Apple, which I'm probably going to pass for now because this thing's probably going to change. Towards the top, you're pretty much set. High of the pre-market is going to be 166.90, so slamming level there. Pre-market low at the moment is set to be 165.59, so we'll throw a level there for now. And then you have the previous day close and everything else down here. Oh, hold on a second. Let me get my bottom chart to look at the daily. There we go. So we have, again, mark this down again. High, pre-market high, 166.90. And then the pre-market low is going to be down over at 165.59. So outside of that, you're surrounded by the highs and lows of the last two trading days. You got a great daily on Apple. Let's see how these things are going to shake out and affect it this morning. You can see here being very aggressive. And AMD, we'll move up to our list. Look at AMD. Down 2% just like that. 103.09, good level of resistance up there. You got plenty towards the top on AMD at the daily. I won't mark down the low of the pre-market because obviously we don't know how low this is going to go. But yeah, definitely in play. I'm going to move AMD up. We'll keep an eye on Nvidia as well. Obviously that's being affected. Nvidia. Apple is being affected, not as much as AMD and of course Nvidia. And what else do we have? MU's moving. The one-time MU's moving. I still won't watch it. Obviously, you want to watch AMD and Nvidia. They got a lot more volume and a lot more going on there. Nvidia sees a third quarter revenue $6 billion, estimated 8.3. Nvidia cites shortfall primarily driven by weaker gaming revenue. Okay, so Nvidia released results early. Is that what it is? That's just dropping. That's just dropping this thing. Okay. All right, so we'll definitely keep an eye on this. Maybe we might be getting an overreaction on AMD though, because if that's the news with Nvidia, why is AMD reacting so aggressively? Right? That's it's gonna be interesting. Careful, guys. If you're gonna be trading this pre-market, trying to catch a run here, just be careful. Manage your risk accordingly. If you know this thing went from 102 to 99, 98 something. So again, if you are gonna be trading this, you can take less shares and still get a great move, right? Interested to see if AMD is doing an overreaction here. It's gonna bounce back. Low of the pre-market right now, setting at 98.89. Let's see what it does around that area. Cause no one buying graphics card, no one will buy AMD chips to build computers. I mean, people are getting out more, right? People were buying graphics card when they were stuck at home for the pandemic. You couldn't find them anywhere. So you had people stuck at home buying technology because they did not know what else to do with their paycheck. They're not traveling. They're not spending it outside. So we had that shortage on top of that. Supply chains were getting hit. So you had this crazy demand. I mean, I bought a graphics card for my gaming computer that was outrageous, right? The price was outrageous, and now it has come down a lot. And many people were doing that. But yeah, I don't, you went through a high demand. Now it's not as much a demand, but I don't think it's this much to drop like this. But we'll see. We'll see how things goes. Spice and Qs are selling off too. Okay. All right, let's see our secondary list in the meantime while this thing develops here. Nvidia's selling down, Piton, Mara, yeah, everything's kind of selling down a little bit here because you got the big guys selling down. It's going to drag a couple of things down, right? Twitter not doing a whole lot, and Tesla also selling down a little bit with the SPY. Again, a little bit of a drop there. Still looking very good as far as the daily and the SPY, and then the Qs here obviously taking the bigger hit because a lot of the stuff seems to be technology related there. So Nvidia, yeah, Nvidia seems to be the one that's really getting destroyed, guys. Here down 7.8 right now. I mean, this is just insane. If we do some levels here for Nvidia, let's say we take this as the low of the pre-market for right now, 174.01. If it can find some kind of buyers in there, some kind of support, we do have this great level 181.03, and then towards the bottom of that, we obviously have a 165.35. And then right in here, 170.31. So a couple of levels there for Nvidia that they can get to. Let's see, we might have a little slingshot action back to the top here on Nvidia. We'll have to see how this plays out. No, they're not meant to put that level there. Let me get rid of that. There we go. So let's see. Let's see how much movement we're getting out of this one. So this is again, very, very active morning, as you can see there. Our moderators are coming in with their list so far. I have Peter, Dima. We'll see what the rest are looking at this morning. Megan's coming in with her list as well as we get going for this week. So, guys, if you haven't done so already on YouTube, hit that thumbs up. We appreciate it very much. And if you, again, as I mentioned before, we will be doing our onboarding class live tonight. So definitely join us for that. If you're not a member over on YouTube, we would love to have you there. Heading down, how many likes? We're sitting at 141 likes, 500 viewers. Thank you guys for that. We would love to get to our goal is 250, 300. That is our sweet spot. If we can get there, that would be amazing. Thank you for the support. Again, appreciate it very much. All right, guys. Anything else that we're not seeing? I know AMD and Nvidia kind of taking the spotlight right now, but anything else that we should be looking out for? We have BBY up here. We have AMC. We have Plug. Plug is moving, pushing higher there, not really dropping there. POTR, big drop today, 14%. It might be extended by the time we start touching it in the market open. We'll see how much downside they have to this. Coin getting a little bit of a drop here of 102. Apple as well, seeing a bit of a drop of the news that just broke out. But they're still pretty good here as far as the daily. Let's see what it does there. AMD, oh, look, AMD's breaking down further. Oh, man. Hit that 98.88 again. There might be some more downside to this if we don't bounce here. Our Roblox falling, RBLX falling out as well. Yeah, taking a bit of a drop here. RBLX, if I will watch it more, I could probably trade this stock very well, but I always end up taking it off my list for something better. But this stock seems like, man, it can do some pretty cool stuff at times. It really can. Like, let's see, Friday here. This looks like a nice bull flag there, ABCD pattern. A little aggressive on the pullbacks that we've seen, but look at the run it had, right? So once in a while, Roblox does do very well. I'm sure if someone is watching it consistently, you can definitely catch some decent moves on this one, and it can move, right? It can move $1, $1.50, $2 very easily. So quick to hit your goals on that one with no problem. iLag, what is it? iLag, what is this? ILAG, iLag. No. No. Oh man, this thing's up 18%, 2.8. What's the float on this bad boy? iLag. Yeah, 8.7. Yeah. Just be careful with this one, man. I don't like it. Grog on this one. I'm not seeing anything great on this. The pre-market action too looks very, very funky today. You're dropping here, pulling back up here, dropping again. There's no pattern being built here. Again, we like our low flow stocks to kind of have that ABCD pattern run with some good volume. They got the volume, but it's not trading clean at all. Can that change at the market open? Absolutely. Just keep an eye on it if you're going to be watching it. I don't see it great right now. We do have BNSO, which is our low flow of the day. See, this, it started pretty decent. Got the nice pop here. You know, you kind of got this thing going, but it's not getting any better. With the 4 million that they're trading, it should be slightly better than this. But again, there are 1.1 million shares flow. So how much better can you trade on something like this, right? Did I get that right? 1.1 BNSO. I think it's 1.1, right? Something very low. Yeah, 1.1. So it's, you know, careful. And this one is scary because you saw there 20 cents drop, right? 20 cents spread. Yeah, you got to be very, very mindful of this one if you're going to be trading any type of low flow stock. Okay, guys, I think we are all set. Let's see what our moderators are looking at. Oh, there we go. See, Brian woke up early. He is trading long AMD at 99, sold at 120. Yeah, I knew it was going to bounce. AMD is just overreaction there. Look at that. Off 98. I had it here. Off 98 seemed like a really good entry anywhere near that. So Brian taking advantage of that. And I also saw some people some members in the chat also taking a 98, right? So overreaction on AMD for sure. Kip, you got it at 130. Who else got in this? I know I saw a couple of you guys taking this and riding that bounce there. So that's good, very good for you there. Excellent. Below 99 was a nice long counter trend. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. For a scalp quickly, and it can run even more. Who knows? Long 98.80. Very good. Okay, excellent, guys. All right, guys, we are all set. Let's look at our moderators lineup. Then Brian will be ready to go. He might be done for the day. Brian might just come in and hang out with you guys. Might not even trade. He's done with his day there after that AMD trade. Let's get our moderators list here. As I'm resizing this, guys, and bring this over, don't forget to hit that thumbs up over on YouTube. We appreciate it. We're very close to our goal. 204, 250 is our threshold there. So if we can hit that, we really appreciate it. Then we'll go over what we have on my list here as far as today, and then we'll call it a Monday, guys. No, we don't have closing bell today, but we will have it tomorrow. So don't forget to join us. There'll be a whole lot of fun. All right, here we go, guys. So list so far, no IPOs, no SPACs for today. So Peter sees nothing coming in on that. For as far as his list, he's looking at AMD, Apple. He'll be taking a look at BBBY, secondary list, PLTR, TSN, and PFE. Demo will be looking at Plug, Coin, AMD, and Apple this morning. Megan will be looking at Oxy, Piton. Jared will be looking at Coin, BKKT, Nvidia, and AMD, BBBY, and AMC. So notice how he's kind of pairing those sectors together. Secondary list, Plug, solar sector stocks, 10 ETF. As I mentioned before, Brian, they're long on AMD. A quick sell there on 102. Brian, did you sell everything, or just did you partial, or you just kind of quick scout for the whole entire thing? We'll see what Brian says there. And then Thor is looking at AMD, Coin, SPY, and the Qs. And the second is you'll be watching the bot alerts that come up right in our chat, guys. For those that are not members of the community, we have our alerts coming in right in here, so you can see there. You can also get this by joining Twitter. So if you look at the Twitter handle, Pivot Alert Bots, Pivot Alert Bot, I'll get it right eventually. You will get access to seeing those alerts when they come in there as well. So, all right, excellent, guys. We are all set. All of it. Okay, so nice, a quick scout for everything there on AMD. Excellent. All right, quick recap of what we have on my list. We have Plug here today. Actually, start at the top. BBBY looking pretty good. Tons of volume there. A bit of a drop with the news that just broke out there. Let's see if this can recover above 1095. Either way, this is don't do that. That's a good one. But no shares for sure on BBBY. Why? What's happening? No shares for sure. Ain't that a shame? All right, I think there's still some good opportunities. I'll still keep it there. Let's see what happens. AMC also very active here, down up 5.4. Plug as well, 1 million. PLTR, the one that's down big this morning, aside from AMD and Nvidia that just went into the red. Coin, very good here. A little bit of a drop. Let's see if they can recover this morning. Apple still managed to stay in the green. So let's see how that's going to play out. Good volume right now, 1.2 million. AMD and Nvidia, of course, just going insane the last couple of minutes. Looking forward to see how that is going to play out into the market open. You know, obviously we did get a little bit of an overreaction on AMD. What is it going to do from here as this news continues to break out and shuffle out there? We'll see what happens there. So that's our list. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I got one too many, but I think it's still a pretty good list. Some good notable ones is Piton. We got Mara, we got GameStop, Twitter, and we also have Tesla, which are pretty good possibles there in case things do get going. BBBY, because of a short flow, is 101. Yeah, that's got to be it. That's got to be the reason. Here's the man's list. Brian, he's looking at AMD, POTR, A-Firm this morning, and CHPT are going to be on Brian's list. So, all right, guys, over on YouTube, we're missing just 26 likes, thumbs up to get into our threshold here of 250. So if you could help us with that, that'll be great before we end the show. Thank you guys. Stay safe. I will see you tonight for the onboarding class at 8 p.m. Eastern time. And take care, guys. Have an amazing day. See you guys all tomorrow or tonight. Have a good one.